going to be switching it up a little bit today, and it sounds like we're going to be doing an interview type of a thing. So, anyways, please help me welcome David to the show. David.
Thank you. Welcome. I'm the Speechcraft here for District 6. The guest today is the president of TechMasters. Please welcome Vince Bollinger.
Thank you for having me.
Vince, what is it about TechMasters that is unique in your membership?
Well, thanks again for having me, and I'm really thrilled to be here today. So what is unique about TechMasters in our membership? Well, we have a few challenges that a lot of other clubs don't have. I think the biggest one is that we are not sponsored by a club. We are hosted by our gracious host, ILM, but we are not actually sponsored by a club. And what we have to do is we have to go outside of our comfort zone here and just looking at our coworkers or whatever and try to bring people in who are actually passionate about technology. So what is different between us and other clubs is that we're not being provided a free lunch. Our employers aren't necessarily paying for our membership, that sort of thing. I think that we are a lot more enthusiastic and a lot more passionate about what it is.
And most of you are coders?
Yeah, I think that a good, at least maybe half of us are programmers in general, but we do have people who are things like project managers, business analysts, recruiters, things like that. Anybody who's kind of in the tech field. And of course, programmers is kind of a diverse thing. You could be a database developer, you could be a service writer, you could be a front-end guy, you could be a mobile developer, something like that. Any kind of a designer or UX kind of person. But in general, I think at least half of us are programmers in some case.
You decided to run Speechcraft this year. What did you expect to get out of it?
Yeah, I feel that we have kind of an issue when it comes to outreach. Obviously, like I said, we have some membership challenges as far as we're not having all of our memberships paid for, and we don't meet over lunch right where we work or something like that, like a lot of corporate clubs do. And what we were looking to get out of Speechcraft was another method of outreach to the community and trying to spread our message more to people who really need it. And I think the tech community really needs that kind of thing because a lot of us are very not very outgoing, so to say. And a lot of us have a lot of issues when it comes to interpersonal communication. So I was really looking forward to outreaching to people and giving them a chance to focus. But also when it comes to Speechcraft in particular, I felt it was a really good opportunity to onboard people. When it comes to people who are more introverted, we have a tough time doing things like joining Toastmasters and getting out there and stepping up in front of a camera and in front of an audience and saying things in an impromptu fashion, things like that, more so than the average person. And of course, I heard that the fear of public speaking is worse than the fear of death for just about everybody. So, and that would be more so for the tech community. So what we're really looking for was that Speechcraft onboards you in a very comfortable, safe fashion, so that if a person who's been around the world giving presentations at conferences, like Mike Bankovich over here, our founder, gets up and gives a phenomenal speech, a person who has never been here before is going to sit here and think, I'm supposed to follow that, and they might just leave right away, especially somebody who maybe they've been to Mike's talks, like, oh, geez, I'm supposed to compete with that guy. Well, if you have Speechcraft, really, you're new people who are competing up against other new people. You're learning along with each other. On top of that fact, they have mentorship built right in, and a lot of us really would have loved to have that when we first started.
So it's a lot more comfortable for a new person to come in and have another new person, and everybody's in the same boat rather than being targeted and different.
Yep. Exactly. You're not really quite thrown into the fire. You're given a lot of work, but when all is said and done, you're helped along, you're mentored through the whole process, and everyone's learning together.
Do they have any particular benefits for members of your club that were already here?
Absolutely, I think so. Myself, as the person who ran Speechcraft, I feel that I learned a lot about how to coordinate things. Each week was different. I think that it brought us, it kind of threw a wrench into a lot of our plans in a good way, in the sense that if you go through the motions over and over and over again and keep on doing the exact same things, you kind of get comfortable, kind of rest on your laurels, And I noticed a lot of us kind of getting a little frazzled by the change up in the way that we were doing things, especially even on a week-to-week basis. Speechcraft week 1 is different from Speechcraft week 2, whereas your typical meeting is the same this week as it will be next week. And I noticed a lot of people kind of stepping up to that challenge and growing a lot from that from a leadership standpoint.
In terms of leadership awards, did that help toward leadership awards as well?
I think a lot. Even the members themselves were obviously given a jump start on their competent communicators, and we had all of our Speechcraft participants walking out with 3 manual speeches right out of the get-go. 2 months, could you imagine having 3 speeches knocked out? Anybody who's a member who wasn't in Speechcraft, in 2 months, your first 2 months, did you have any more than 1 speech? Probably not. So to have 3 and to have gone through those motions as kind of the focus of the whole program, I think was definitely beneficial. But myself, I got a very difficult task to achieve in the Advanced Communicator Gold. I haven't finished the entirety of the process of Advanced Communicator Bronze at the moment, but when I get to the Advanced Communicator Gold requirements, I'll have this giant difficult one knocked out of the way, and that feels good.
So what did you accomplish in Advanced Communicator Gold?
Advanced Communicator Gold is the top level of the communication award track in Toastmasters, and you have to fill out 2 manuals, which we are partially doing right now, and you have to fill out 2 of those manuals, which is 5 speeches each, and you also have to coordinate a workshop. And Speechcraft is a Toastmasters module workshop that fits that criteria. And so I'll have that very difficult task to achieve. So there we go.
That was a tough one.
Yeah.
And were there any challenges, things that didn't go like you expected?
Sure. As I mentioned, every week is kind of like herding cats and dogs. Every week was different. And I really had to be on my toes as far as watching to make sure that not only was it going according to plan, but other people had a full working knowledge about what was happening. I sent out very long emails, at least twice a week, to the Speechcraft members and the people who were mentors on the schedule and things like that. And still, there were challenges. There were people who, you typically when you go from week to week, if you show up on a Tuesday morning, you think you need 5 minutes preparation. Sometimes when you're trying to be a leader and help mentor other people, you need a little bit more than 5 minutes of preparation. And sometimes people had not allotted themselves the adequate amount of time in order to accomplish it. And I noticed that sometimes the timing got away pretty heavily. So I'd be looking at the clock and be 10 minutes behind, and I'd have to cut out a segment. I had a speech that would have helped me work toward either Advanced Communicator Silver or Advanced Communicator Silver or something like that I had to cut out. It was, I didn't want to cut out anybody else's speech or anything like that, so I took one of the two. So timing and keeping everybody on track.
Basically makes it be a little more flexible.
Especially because everything was new each week.
What's the plan for next year? Are you going to continue?
Yeah, we discussed that with the club executive committee, and we think that it's a really valuable part of Toastmasters, the Toastmasters experience. We think it's going to really help retention levels. I think retention is something that people kind of overlook. And when you look at the membership that we've had so many people in our club, and we've had membership that has been noticeably higher than we currently have. And I think the retention is an issue. And I think that's one thing that I learned when I was looking through Speechcraft and things like that, and why it was different from the way we normally do it, which is to only give we typically kind of let people take it easy and don't have them give their icebreaker until at least a month out, probably closer to 2. And I learned that is very, very, very wrong. A lot of people think, well, yeah, I'm going to be a little bit intimidated to give a speech right away. But what happens is you are not involved and you kind of feel off to the side, and the retention goes down quite a bit. We have had a lot of people who have joined and left after a few weeks because they weren't involved. And hopefully this continuing Speechcraft, I think, will get everybody involved really quickly right away, and will have the retention escalate dramatically. On top of that fact, we're going to have people who have had a lot more experience right away after just 1 month in Toastmasters moving or Techmasters moving forward. They will be a much better contributor than other people would be after a month. We did decide to go with the 1 month program instead of a 2 month program because we want to do it every year. And when you think about it, if you go with the 8-week program, that essentially is 2 months. And 2 months out of 12, that means 1 out of 6 meetings will be a Speechcraft meeting. So we will have the 4th meeting schedule.
Anything more you'd like to add?
Well, I definitely would recommend it to any clubs out there who, whether you're struggling for membership or not, I think that it's important to improve, to increase your membership, and I think that it really will help improve your retention. It will also help improve the Toastmasters experience from the potential members, and also the people who are helping coordinate and run it, and the members of the group will gain a lot of leadership skills. And I highly recommend it to pretty much everyone.
Why don't you give directions in case somebody wants to come to your club?
Find out. Well, we here at Techmasters meet at ILM in Edina. It is essentially Highway 100 and 494, but we are just north of that. The first exit was at 76, and then 77. And then you go east on 77th, and you go about 2 blocks, and you take a right south on Computer Avenue Drive, and you take the very first right on Viking Drive, and it will be your first building on north.
And this is a Tuesday morning at 7:40?
Yep, Tuesday morning, 7:40, rain, shine, sleet, or snow, and unless it's really bad. Or help.
Thank you, Vince.
Thank you, David. Thanks for having me.